This land is your land. This land is
Good evening.
mine.
I'm Carol Murphy, and you're listening to Heartstock Radio. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. Our guest is Erica Reiner, and she's the founder of Eco Method Interior Design. Just a moment, she will be joining us to tell you all about what she is up to. Remember that we're on Facebook, and you can always email us at heartstockradio@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. This is Heartstock.
As I went walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that in the skyway, I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you.
You're listening to Heartstock Radio, and I'm your host, Carol Murphy. With us this evening is Erica Reiner, and she is the founder of Eco Method Interior Design. Hi, Erica.
Hello, Carol. How are you?
Just about as good as I can be. Thank you so much. How about yourself?
I am also doing really well. Thank you.
Please introduce our listeners to your company and tell them just a little about what you do.
Sure. So what I do is an eco-friendly and non-toxic version of interior design. So my company is called Eco Method Interiors. And what I do is a lot like what other interior designers do, but I tend to look at places in your design concept and plan where I can replace traditional or conventional objects, materials, and products with ones that are more eco-friendly, more non-toxic, and better for the planet and for you and your family.
And we're going to delve into that a little bit more. But first, can you please share with our listeners a little bit about your personal story and what led you down this path?
Yeah, I'd love to. So when I was in college, I was basically just studying the normal, mandatory coursework the first year. And then I was introduced to the concept of sustainability through an extracurricular program that I got some extra credit for doing. And I learned how to live sustainably, taking it easy with resources and our impact on the earth, and how I could be responsible for my part. And so that kind of switched a light bulb on for me, and my connection with nature and animals that I had always loved really deepened and expanded to our whole earth. And I just wanted everyone to take care of the earth as well and know about it and know about our impact. So I ended up studying environmental science, and I ended up doing a graduate degree in marine environmental science. But in between, when I was doing just some work out of undergraduate and not quite in graduate yet, I was a little bit just like bored and needed something to do. And I had always loved design. I was constantly redecorating my room as a kid. My mom had great design style and taste, so it was important to her. And that kind of just infused into me. So I did a certificate in decorating on the side just for fun. And then really I had left it, and I continued to work in the environmental industry for years. And then it wasn't until about 4.5 or so years ago, I thought, well, I see all these people around me starting businesses. I would love to start one of my own too. So I thought I'm going to take the two, pieces of me, the creative side, the design side, and merge it with the eco-friendly sustainability side. And that's just been amazing, because now I get to make people feel good and happy and confident and, less stressed and just better in their homes from the transformational design. And I also get to help them use less resources and have less exposure to toxic chemicals through the things that they bring into their home. So it's kind of like a mental and physical, wellness exercise. That's really great for everyone, from homes to workplaces to retail shops, stuff like that. So that's what I'm doing now.
Yeah, and it is always amazing to me how much my home and the space that I'm working in has an impact. I don't know if there's any kind of sociological studies that proves that, there's a direct correlation between physical and mental health and the space that you're kind of hanging out and working in. But personally, it's huge for me. And I think it might not be the same for everyone, but I'm just kind of curious if there is such if anybody's done any work in this realm.
Yeah, you are right on the money. Exactly right. There's definitely been a lot of psychological research about this. If you just Google design psychology, you might find some architectural elements, but there's also interior design elements to this, and you can find research that all backs this up as well, which is why I explained it the way I explained it. It really is you're contributing to your mental wellness. And if you really think about how people evolved and the type of living they're in and the type of nature they were surrounded in and how dynamic and different and the textures and colors and all of those things, we live very differently now. And so if we don't have not just beauty, but access to sunlight, to plants, to textures and comforts that make us happy, it has a huge impact. And you can definitely look in scholarly articles that are peer-reviewed and find a lot of research that backs this up. So you are right on the money. And what I would say is people don't necessarily recognize that immediately because they're not necessarily informed into how much of an impact it can have on you. But what I find is people, once they've gone through a transformation of a space, they can feel it after, even if they didn't realize it was impacting them at first.
Yeah. So what did you do in the environmental industry before? You said you worked several years in the industry.
Yeah, so my favorite gig was actually being an environmental science professor. And that was great because I got to share my passion and my knowledge with others and, help further the movement of teaching people how to do their part or how to demand that others do their part, how to just understand the way we're all a part of this earth and needing to all help each other by helping the earth and ourselves. So that was my absolute favorite thing. I loved teaching. I loved the process of learning and how to set that up. And then I also did many different things. I graduated right at the crux of the 2008 summer recession. So that led me to try a bunch of different things. I worked in a solar company. I worked at plastics recycling. Some folks might not know that the United States used to send all their plastic recyclables to China to be recycled.
Yes.
I did.
And I understand that that's kind of going by the wayside. China's not so hot on accepting all of our plastic anymore.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well. I think they want to start recycling more of their own, and that just leaves less room for accepting others. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But everything from that and solar to electric vehicle carpooling and stuff like that. So I definitely love the teaching the most, and maybe that's still in my future.
And what classes did you teach?
Oh, I taught Environmental Science 101. I taught energy classes. I taught lab classes and physical geography.
Physical geography, one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Loved my physical geography class. So you mentioned the word sustainability, and this is a word that, we hear a lot these days, and we've talked about it before on several of our previous programs. Can you give us a clear definition of what that means to you and how that can relate to our homes?
Okay, sure. So in general, sustainability is basically when you are, well, in everything that we do as humans on this earth, we are using resources and interacting with earth and creating some kind of impact. So when you take that impact and that interaction and you call it sustainable, what it means is you never take or use more than can be easily replenished indefinitely. And indefinitely is kind of the key word, where we never get to the point where something is going to run out and not be able to be provided for all of us in the future generations. And so it's basically just, has a lot to do with resources and how you use them. And can all, the definition can get quite broad as well. In terms of your home, I sort of see what I do in terms of designing in two levels. One, I just see as environmentally friendly. And I'll give you a quick example of, you might be able to find a piece of beautiful furniture, say your new dining room table, and it's made from reclaimed wood from an old barn that was torn down and not needed. So that would mean that no new trees are cut down and hopefully it was local, so there's not much fossil fuels in shipping it to you. That would be environmentally friendly and sustainable in terms of your use of that wood resource. What the next level is, and a lot of my clients care about, is not just environmentally friendly, but also non-toxic or low toxin, low chemical as well. So what that would mean is for that same dining table, if any adhesives and wood glues are used, that those are not emitting volatile organic compounds or otherwise have formaldehyde in the adhesive, things like that. So there's healthy for the earth, and then there's healthy for the human. And sometimes they're interrelated and the same, and sometimes they're not, and there's nuances. So I kind of look at what you bring into the home in those two levels of better and best.
Yeah, and that's great, because it leads into the next question, which is, we don't often think of our homes as being toxic environments. Can you kind of give us a heads up as to what some of the hazards are? I mean, just plastics alone, it makes me a little crazy every time, I go to cook a meal. It's like, gosh, not just what the food is contained in, but just what we use in our homes. There's so much plastic everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. So just as like a little bit of background, for instance, like since World War II, when a lot of chemical development and engineering started for that war, since then, over 80,000 chemicals have been invented and brought into marketplaces where we have access to them, whether we know it or not. And only 5 of them are banned in this country or thereabouts. And many, 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 many thousands have not even been tested for safety. So we're all walking around thinking that the clothes we wear and the things that we touch and the beds and the sofas we lay on are okay. And that might not be the case because it's not tested, it's not protected. So what you have to do is you have to be your own advocate, and while you're looking out for your own health and also the health of this earth. So plastics, obviously, people are becoming way more aware of. That's fantastic. Why do we care about that? Because it hurts the environment. It comes from a fossil fuel. Like, one time I would ask my students, what is plastic? Where do you think it comes from? Because sometimes people don't make the connection.
Right.
It's a fossil fuel that is harvested from the Earth's crust, and that's harmful. What it is refined into is harmful. When you use it, the chemicals in it can leach and get into your environment and the system. So yeah, plastic is definitely, it's in everything. Like, you wouldn't even realize your throw blanket might be 90% or 100% acrylic or nylon. Those things can break down in the washing machine, get into our waterways, get into the fish we eat. It's a whole slew. So not just plastic, but like I said, a lot of the chemicals and different stains and finishes and paints and glues, and then the resources themselves. What was an orangutan forest cut down to make that hardwood floor that you just love in your kitchen? Or is there a better way to do it? So definitely don't assume that the things in your house are safe for you and your family, and don't assume that they were harvested responsibly. It's really up to all of us and designers like me to help guide people to make better decisions and be conscious consumers.
On that note, we're about at the halfway point, so we're going to take a brief intermission, and we shall be right back with Erica Reiner. Thank you so much. This is Heartstock.
This land was made for you and me. When the sun comes shining, and I was strolling in the wheat fields waving, and the dust clouds rolling, the voice was chanting as the fog was lifting. This land was made for you and me. As I went walking, I saw a sign there, and on the sign it said, no trespassing, but on the other side, it didn't say nothing. That sign was made for you and me.
Hi, I'm Carol Murphy, and you're listening to Heartstock Radio. This evening, our guest is Erica Reiner. Hi again, Erica.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being with us. Erica was just telling us about her eco-friendly interior design company. And you also utilize technology and have some online design work that you do. Can you tell our listeners how that works?
Absolutely. And thanks for having me and having me back. So online design is a really exciting disruption to the interior design industry. And a lot of designers are starting to work in this way in addition to working locally with people. Probably the best part about it is that it becomes really cost affordable to work with a designer or a decorator online, because some of the costs of on-site project management and installation are reduced. So what that means and what is left is that the designer like myself might see pictures and help you measure your space, have a regular consultation with you about your goals and priorities and your style, help you develop your style. Create a design plan and a vision board, the 3D model, the renderings, and even the purchase list. And I myself go as far as doing the purchasing as well, because it's more streamlined and efficient and helps overall transformation if I do that. So all of those things can still happen. And then basically all the stuff gets shipped to your house and you wiggle the new sofa or rug into place. And there you go, there you have it. So you had a professional guide you the whole way, and you get a really transformed, put together, amazing look, while the cost of doing so is greatly reduced. And the best part about it for me is that since I have a specialized niche into eco-friendly and non-toxic, I feel very passionately that like everyone should have access to my expertise and designers like myself doing that. And so I love that I can work with people from all over the country or really the world and help those people create homes that they love and feel good, like we were talking about earlier with design psychology, and also have that health element and that safety element. And so I love that I can do that from anywhere. And we can both find times that work well for us, and with technology and Zoom and the project management software I use and all that kind of stuff, it makes it a breeze. So I really encourage people that didn't think that it was an option for them to check that out and do a little bit of research, because it just opens so many doors and options.
So the actual design work, you can send them virtual 3D images of what their space will look like via the internet.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
really cool.
And so I take them through a whole process. So we have a call. I send them the floor plan, just through email. I send them the vision board, which is like basically a concept or a mood board. And then they get a feel to see if we're on the right page. And then, like you were saying, the 3D model, those images get sent through. What I like to do in the photorealistic rendering so they can see what it would look like after we do everything I plan for them. And that is a really helpful visual aid. And then I tend to take it one step further for my clients. And once I have all of those deliverables, I record my screen with just regular recording software, and I talk them through everything that I'm emailing off to them. So it's not just calls. It's not just getting things in your email and not knowing what to do with them. You can hear me walk through all of these things as I point things out through the video of me recording my screen. And then, of course, the purchase list and the proposal, like I said, that happens through my software, and they get that, and they go in and click accept or deny, and we get them their items. And it's that easy.
For me, this kind of thing is a heck of a lot of fun. Do you really enjoy your work?
I really do. I definitely see it as meaningful in twofolds or even threefolds. Like, firstly, on the very basic level, it's meaningful for me as something creative to do in helping people and educating people. On the next level, like I said, it gives me goosebumps to think about like the retail shop owners that I've helped, like, totally change the ambiance of their business to encourage more people to come in and to stay and to purchase and fuel their livelihood. Because as we're talking about the design psychology, like, that impacts how people behave. If they want to visit your restaurant or your store, they want the whole experience, right? Not just the product or the food. And the same thing in someone's home, like making them feel great, making them not want to isolate, but to invite people over and to be proud of their space as a reflection of who they are and their identity. Like, that's really big. And lastly, I have even more pride in all of my environmental work and being able to educate and implement people into doing greener and cleaner things in their home. And that, one client at a time, puts a market demand and puts our money where our mouth is for more vendors to convert to sustainable manufacturing processes.
The greater the demand, the more likely folks who are doing things unsustainably are going to realize that it's in everybody's best interest, but from a business standpoint, it's in their own interest to do things more sustainably. The more demand
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So can you give us some examples of some of the products that you use in your designs and easy ways to green your home with products?
Sure. I mean, the biggest impact products are going to be the soft goods. So things like your sofas, your rugs, your throw blankets and pillows, your mattress isn't so much a design element, but your curtains, anything like that, where you're laying all over it, you're spending time on it, your babies are crawling on it, whatever. That's where I want you to start and focus in a decorating project, and look for things that are made out of natural materials, wools, organic cottons, linen, things like that. Second fold have been minimally processed. In your couch cushions, you don't want to have foam that's been covered and sprayed in fire retardant. Same thing for your curtains and your rugs. You want to have an all-natural wool rug or hand-knotted cotton rug, and just all those soft goods. You want to look for all-natural products, minimal processing, minimal chemicals added. So start there. And that's enough work in and of itself, which is kind of where the pros come in that regard. But definitely start there and starting to do your research and starting to request those things from your designer. And then otherwise, what's really easy to do, I'll give you a couple really quick ones. Eco-friendly paint. So something with non or no VOC, volatile organic compounds. The thing that makes paint smelly when you walk into a room. There are many lines of major brands making paints without these chemicals. And while it's slightly more expensive, it's really not that much of a budget breaker at all to just paint. If you're going to be repainting, definitely it's an easy no-brainer when to do that. And it also helps you and the painters, like the people working on your house. So it's a win-win-win. And then flooring. There's so many eco-friendly flooring options. If you don't want to do, or you can't for some reason do an eco-friendly flooring option like bamboo or cork or recycled flooring material, then you can definitely still at least use low toxin, low VOC or non-VOC adhesive. So saying you're laying tile, you can definitely use eco-friendly grout sealer, eco-friendly adhesives. So think of the areas with a lot of surface area. That's where you're going to tackle next. And then last, what I'll say is in terms of furnishing, first of all, when you're getting rid of things, definitely donate to places like Habitat for Humanity or charity or whatever. So things don't go into the waste stream. They can be reused. And then that includes your carpet and your old paint. There are a lot of states have recycling centers for items like that, and that can get reused into new products. And then definitely take a look online, and there's so many new apps and technology where you can buy pre-loved furniture. So we're not making any new demand for new resources. And I don't mean just a junky old thing on Craigslist. I mean, there are really high-end items on so many of these online platforms that we now have access to that are gorgeous and high style.
Yes, I love that. And they might even be nicer than something that you could buy brand new in some cases because they're just cheap.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
So on your ecopreneur journey, what are some of the challenges? You know, it seems like funding projects, funding your own business is a big hurdle for most folks. Was that the case for you? If not, what did you find most challenging, and what advice do you have for folks who are on that same journey?
You know, what I found to be most difficult, I'm pretty much bootstrapping, you know, running a lean business as much as I can. I am very into streamlining things, efficiencies, outsourcing. But just doing it, you don't know what you don't know. And when you start, you don't realize how big of a bite you've taken off to chew. So chunking it down, knowing that, you know, stopping to take the time and look back at what you've done and go, oh, okay, I actually really have done quite a bit. It's so much. And when you're working alone to start out before you've hired anyone, it can just feel like a lot. So definitely learning processes and systems, getting organized, learning how to outsource, learning how to chunk things down, manage time, block time. Those are all really key things. Like as a designer, that's not necessarily design work. So when I'm building my business, I'm learning how to build a business, and that is, you know, nothing to do with design. And it takes a while to get to the point where you're not working on your business, but you're working in it. So just expect that. Like if you want to do something creative, know that there's still going to be a lot of like left brain kind of work in business building and all those kinds of things. And if you want to start your business, you have to be willing to do that. Otherwise, stay working for someone else. And then, what I'm working on right now is attracting my ideal client to me. So I really love to work with people that share my values and understand the health benefits and the earth benefits. And in a niche business, you've always got to work real hard to get those people to find you and find those people. So that's what I'm working on right now.
And marketing is very fun and creative. And unfortunately, we have run out of time. How might our listeners find you, Erica?
Yeah, send me an email at erica@ecofriendlyinteriordesigner.com, all one word. And thank you so much for having me on and getting to share with your listeners.
I love what you're doing. And to be honest, I'm a little jealous because it sounds like way too much fun.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on Heartstock. I'm Carol Murphy, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
And on the sign it said, no trespassing.
Heartstock Radio is a production of KBMF 102.5 Butte America Radio. Hear our live programs every Friday at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time via livestream at butteamericaradio.org.
That time was made for you.